Test 1, 2. Hello, I'm going to show a repair on my mount, and this is my CGE Pro. It's the one I created the on-step kit for. And this mount that I have has gone through the ringer. I don't know how many owners it's had, but it's been taken apart a few times, I would say. It does have a Hypertune badge on it, so I know Hypertune got their hands on it. What I have found, and here's my repair, is this is the motor bracket with the worm gear, and I'll show close-ups of all this. And this bracket, everything's aluminum. This is cast aluminum, and this is machined. And what has happened is I found somebody has been replaced these bolts with the wrong ones, the wrong thread pitch and the wrong size. And what has happened is you'll find there is an M6 125 and which isn't a very common bolt, but I do believe you can find them. And M6 125 is not common. Usually it's M6 1.0 thread, 1.0 thread pitch, or millimeters thread pitch. That is the common size. That is what's on declination. It's an M6 1.0 thread pitch. What I found down here was 1/4 inch, 20 threads per inch. And if you look at 1.25 and 2.0 thread pitch, if you were to throw them on your thread pitch gauges, you could go, oh yeah, 20 TPI, 125, they look really close, but there is a difference. And the deeper you put that screw in there, the more you'll find out there is a difference. It'll start binding up on you. So I don't know what's happened here. I don't know why I have these strange bolts in here. The main problem with what has happened is that this is aluminum, and it's cast aluminum. And the method that Celestron uses, my mount, my right ascension, is not the spring loaded. My declination spring loaded, so a spring is actually meshing the worm gear into the worm wheel. On right ascension, mine uses 4 grub screws. 1, 2, 3, tiny, not tiny, but small grub screws, and those push out. Those push out against this plate. And then you've got 3 big M6 bolts that pull it in. So you're setting your depth by pushing out with the grub screws, pulling in with the bolts. So that allows you to space out the mesh from worm gear to worm wheel. Somewhere along the lines, I found that these holes are not drilled all the way through. Today I'm going to do that. My patch is going to be with helicoil. You drill it out, you re-tap it, and you put an insert. I'll probably use 2 inserts, we'll see as we get into this, to make new threads that you can then bolt into. Helicoil is one of my favorites. I let the wars begin on what's better as far as thread repair. But I've always had great success with helicoil. And I've tried to stick with the helicoil brand. Don't know if it matters. They are much more expensive than the knockoffs. So that's that. Let's see. So somewhere along the lines, as I have taken these assemblies off many times in order to work on my on-step project, and over those years, taking bolts in and out, and being the wrong size, and I don't know if they were just driven in there and new threads were created, or somebody tapped it with a 125 thread pitch M6, or if they tapped it with a 1/4 20. Somehow we got the weird bolts in there, and because they weren't going all the way through, they were only going in maybe about 1/4 of an inch, 5 millimeters, and as you start pulling up, you're creating tension. You can see this casting is broken out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to re-drill this, re-thread it with a tap, and then insert helicoils. And I've chosen, because I had them, to go with 1/4 20. You could, this is perfectly fine. If you wanted to go back to M6 1.0, you absolutely can. If you look at the difference there, 1.2 and 1/4, they are nearly the same. Or M6 versus 1/4, they're nearly the same diameter. But there is a difference, and this is where you can run into problems because they're so close, but they're just a hair off. So that's the plan. I'll start showing some close-ups here. And I guess one thing I will mention is I wouldn't recommend doing this while it was on the tripod. Set yourself up for success. Take it off the tripod. You can see I've put 2x4s underneath these 2 ears, so I have a stable platform that I can drill into. Your drilling, you want to be straight, obviously. So I think that's about it. So let's start. I'll show you some close-ups of what we're working with, and we'll start the process of fixing these holes. So you can see what's happened here as these bolts only went in a little bit. As you start pulling and pushing with grub screws, see where the grub screws have dug in, so you're creating this tension between. It is being cast aluminum, it has popped that out. So the fix is going to be, let's drill all the way through. This is completely clear under here. We'll drill all the way through, and then we'll run our new tap in there to make the threads for the helicoil inserts, and then the helicoil inserts will insert, and that will be our fix. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4 grub screws, and there's the holes for the 3 M6 1.0. When I do my repair, I will etch a writing on here saying these are 1/4 20. So if for whatever reason this mount ever leaves my hands and goes to somebody else, they might see that little notation and realize that it's been retapped to 1/4 20. Okay, now for this 1/4 helicoil kit, we have to use a 17/64 drill bit. That's the size drill bit we need to use to make our initial hole. I do have some WD-40. WD-40 is pretty good for cutting aluminum. So we'll start out. We want to go in very straight, and optically it might look a little weird on camera because there is a bit of a tilt. There we go. We got a bite. And I would recommend using an electric drill on this, not a battery, but okay. So we've got our first hole through drilled. And I did feel that. If anybody does that, watch what happened when I got down here. It hit that round and it tilted out. See how my drill bit is hitting that? So do watch. I think we'll be fine. But you could oblong that hole if you let that drill bit go in and deflect off that round. So we have our 17/64 hole. We will now, I'm going to start the tap that comes with the kit. I'm going to start with just a hand wrench. I might go to my larger one here, we'll see. So tapping this out, again, you want to go in straight. And with tapping, you'll go about 1 or 2 turns once you start feeling it, and then you'll reverse to break what you've cut. Looking pretty good. Usually the hole that you drill will guide the tap. Go back and break the cuts. Not through yet. It looks like I'm doing pretty good. I didn't have to go to my big wrench. I'm able to cut this with this small wrench. Make sure you reverse. Oh, they're starting to poke down through. Let's see if that holds focus better. All right. We are through. So we have now tapped this hole to accept the heliocoil. Now the heliocoil, you'll see there's this tab. You want that to go into the hole, and you'll see that this actually drives it. It comes with this little tool here. We'll see if we... It's probably best to have a wrench on here. I'll tell you what. The end of this insert tool has a square end, which is out of camera right now. I'm going to attach just a little set of vice grips to help me move this in. So I am going to wait until that thread repair. I can feel it at the bottom. Because what I planned to do is put 2 of these on top of each other, which should work. So I'll have full thread, helicoil thread all the way through. Okay, so I can feel it. It's protruding below, so I'm going to back out my tool. Now this one, what you do is you run a punch down through here to break off that tab. We'll go ahead and do it. There it went. We'll go and put our next one in. And there we go. So that was 2 stacked on top of each other. And then we will break off that tab. Okay. Now we need to get our 1/4 20, and we now have a repaired hole. I will continue doing this on all 3. And I'll just go ahead and continue shooting it. We'll see if any of my footage turns out a little bit better as far as focus and stuff. Maybe I'll edit this out. Okay. That time I learned not to go down so deep. All right, let's thread or tap this one. I don't think I really needed the aluminum or the WD-40 to cut these threads. I will clean this out a bit. And I think what matters the most is your drill when you're first drilling this hole. If you drill straight, your tap is going to go in straight. If you drill crooked, your tap is going to follow that hole. Again, go a couple turns, then back off to break the metal. I'm going to keep an eye. I can't put my finger under that one to feel when it's... Okay, I'm not through yet. We'll back it out. Had some resistance there. Okay, I can start to see the tip. Okay. Okay, I'll now back that out. I could see the insert. Put our next insert in. Until it stops. And just a punch. I probably shouldn't be using my nice little Allen. Punch is nice to break those tabs out. I usually get it going down into the thread pretty good before I reverse out. Starting to feel it. Okay, we're through. Okay. Break the tab. And break this tab. All right, we are repaired. All right, the replacement bolts that I'm going to use are 1/4 20 thread pitch with a length of 1.5 inches. Be a nice, give us a nice bite in there. Not quite all the way through. Could go, if you could find 1 3/4 long, that would be fine also. 2 would probably be too long. So what I've done is I've backed off those grub screws so that they're flush. And we'll go ahead and test out our newly threaded holes here. Everything's feeling really good. Back this off. Good. Very good. All right. Well, this is feeling great. I won't set the worm mesh until I get this back up on the tripod. But hopefully that gives you the confidence to repair your CG Pro if you so need to. If these were not as bad as they were. You could have gotten a helio coil kit for M6. M6 at a 1.0 thread pitch. I chose to go 1/4 20 because that is what was inside there. And 1/4 is just a little bit bigger, isn't it? A little bit bigger than M6. .236 for M6 and .25 for 1/4. So 1/4, just a little bit bigger. So that's why I went 1/4 20 mainly here, instead of trying to go back to M6 1.0 thread pitch. So helio coil, highly recommend them. Easy to do. Take your time, be patient, set yourself up for success, and get it well. You probably could do this on the tripod, but why even monkey with it? You know, let's set it up on a nice workbench, have the proper tools, and take your time and do it right. So I hope this helps someone out, and we will talk to you later.